Hey guys, it's Jim here, and today we're actually going to be checking out the new Harley Benton that I ordered last week. It showed up today about 20 minutes ago. Haven't taken it out of the box yet. I'm going to take it out, give my first initial thoughts when I see it, then we're going to put it onto the table and really have a closer look at it. And on the box itself, it says the model and the color. That's pretty cool. Smart for them for inventory, I suppose. Voila! And one of the strings is broken. The E, the high E. Alright, other than that, let's take off this little guy. It's really pretty. Sparkle metallic. It's fairly light, I would say. We're gonna weigh it. We're gonna do all that fun stuff. It's got the sticker telling you it has the coil tapping. Doesn't look like there's any egregious craftsmanship errors or anything like that. So, yeah, looks good. Let's get it on the bench. Okay, so as a whole here, without really getting too deep into it, it looks like it showed up and it was sent in pretty pristine condition. And now obviously I'm gonna have it under the light and really looking for specific issues that it may have, but as a whole, this is a really good value out of the box, looking at $200. This is going to be really hard to beat. Okay, so the binding work looks pretty decent on this guitar. It's certainly a whole hell of a lot better than the GFS body. That has probably the cheapest, worst binding I've ever seen. We get close, though, we can see the actual tailpiece. I don't know how well it's going to see here. It's really obvious in person, though. Has a lot of scratches on the gold there. Now to me that's not the end of the world, but I mean it is what it is. There are no real problem areas with the finish on the very front of the body. Looks pretty clean. Binding job on this side looks pretty good on the fingerboard. Nothing egregiously bad, which is a good start. It's a good sign. Okay, as far as how clean as the control cavity goes, it's pretty good. If you go in, you're not really going to see anything from up top. You're not really going to see anything here. Gorgeous finish, though. How about that? It looks a little more purple because of the lighting, but it's a very attractive, nice shade. So I'm going to have to replace one of those strings, and we're going to get going from there after that. Alright, so I put on a fresh new set of strings. I didn't want to mess with any of the heights or anything like that. I wanted to see how the intonation and all that would be out of the box. I'm pretty happy with it. The high E, the B, the G, and the D string were actually pretty spot on with intonation. The A and the E, not so much, but it was close enough where it wasn't the end of the world to adjust it. Tuning it up, I didn't have any catching of the strings in the nut itself, which was really good, and I tried to really play around with it to make sure it wasn't going to bind, and it didn't, so that's a good sign. Even though it's a cheaper material of a nut, it's doing a pretty decent job. So now I have the guitar all set up. The strings are pretty decently stretched. I haven't actually played with it yet though, so let's get into it. Alright, I don't even know where to start with this guitar. I think the pickups sound really good. I really like them. I was really impressed with the Roswell humbuckers, and even in the coil split positions, and I'm still not a big fan of humbuckers splitting into singles, except on the PRS guitars. I think they're the only ones that really like nail it, but it's a pretty serviceable tone. The electronics themselves, there's no issues. There's no kind of squeaks. There's no kind of dirt, hissing when you're switching in between. Everything is put together pretty well, and I have to give a lot of credit for that. As far as the hardware goes, I think the tuners are all right. I'm not the biggest fan of the bridge or the actual tailpiece. The fretwork is okay. It's really good for a guitar in this range, but you know, I'm so used to playing high-end guitars, it's hard for me to kind of judge this guitar. I'm just used to such a higher standard. But that being said, this guitar is good. There's no dead spots on it. I don't have any fret out issues. The actual intonation is pretty decent from the factory. Only the E and the A strings were, you know, kind of really off. The rest were almost spot on. Cosmetically, you know, little here and there problems, but overall, nothing major. And to stress again, the GFS body, the binding on that was atrocious, and that body's $100 if you were to buy it right now, new. And this guitar, before shipping obviously, is about $200 US. You get the whole thing, and this is definitely a higher quality product. So, and you know, I'm not trying to compare them apples for apples because one's a guitar body and one is a full guitar, but I mean, it just goes to show the quality that you're going to get from Harley Benton for $100 more for a full guitar. I mean, it's going to blow away anything that you're going to get from similar kind of budget brands. Now, another big plus for this guitar, I just strung it up myself because it came with the broken string, but it stays in tune really well. It stays in tune a lot better than my friend's 335, which is crazy. I mean, his has nut issues, but at the same time, this is surprisingly good in tune. Now, I did string it up the Robert Baker method. I'll link that video there. So the strings don't have as an extreme break angle. They go up on the post instead of down. So I tried that on this, and I gotta say, so far so good. Really, really solid. The guitar for a 335 style is relatively light. I just weighed it, 7 pounds 13 ounces. It's manageable. You know, I think the weight is also so spread nicely. If it was more compact, you'd feel the weight more. But because it's a bigger guitar and it's more spread out, it doesn't really feel that heavy at all. Now, the only negative things I have to say about the guitar and the experience was I didn't understand why the case shipped separately from the guitar. Part of the reason that I got the case for it was because I wanted the guitar in the case when it shipped over from Germany to make sure nothing happened to it, because, as you might know, all Les Paul style kind of headstocks or Gibson style headstocks, they're a little more prone to breakage, and I just wanted that extra kind of security. Nothing happened, but it came in 2 separate shipments. The case came on Monday, this came today, and you know, other than that, the fretwork, I would personally like it a little bit better, but for $200, this is as good as you're gonna get. It's really hard to find a guitar in this price range that's gonna play this well, that has electronics that don't have any fuzz or hiss or, you know, issues like that. The pickups do sound good. The guitar is light. The construction is overall really, really, really high value. Tuners are decent, looks the part, plays the part. You can't go wrong. I would absolutely recommend this guitar. And there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this brief little unboxing and overview of the new Harley Benton HB35 in metallic plum. Really, really pretty guitar. If you like what I'm doing, please leave me a like. I really do appreciate it. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about Harley Bentons. Let me know what you think about this guitar. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you again tomorrow for another gear video. Take care, you guys.